one side doesn't play by those rules. Pretty concerning to anyone with a brain. But what does Asmongold think of it? We want the platforms this way as well.
And it is a cartel, very obviously.
That is, and they are expressing it. That is on their platform. That is compelled speech.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Here we go. This was what I hoped Trump would have done in his first term.
There's no way this could possibly go wrong, right? This is how deep the average American engages with policy propositions, by the way. Okay, guys, Trump is already going kind of crazy. I feel like the next few years are going to be pretty so I can't lie. So this is like something that I saw Asmongold celebrating this, and it's like, yeah, in an abstract, I can see some of this stuff being good, but it's so... Trump is the last person I would trust to do any of this. I would rather be at the whims of Hillary Clinton every whim than this. So let's watch some of this. It's a few years old by now, isn't it? Is this a few years old? Asmongold literally just reacted to this. I just saw it on my feed. What's the source on this? Trump, let me Google. Let's Google. Section 230. Trump reform. Thank you. Videos from 2023. Okay, so this is a video from last year, all right? So we'll just cover this around Asmongold, all right? We'll cover this around Asmongold. It's not brand new stuff. But this is, so this is from last year, and Asmongold has been celebrating this, okay? It's been doing the rounds again. So let's watch this video. Let's see what we think. And see if there's anything to celebrate here. See if this sounds like stuff we want to happen, or if this sounds like terrifying, awful, and how different it's going to be given the other events that have happened over the last 6 months, or last year, really. Let's see.
If we don't have free speech, then we just don't have a free country. It's as simple as that. If this most fundamental right is allowed to perish, then the rest of our rights and liberties will topple. Just like dominoes, one by one, they'll go down. That's why today I'm announcing my plan to shatter the left-wing censorship regime and to reclaim the right to free speech for all Americans. And reclaim is a very important...
So the left-wing censorship regime. So again, Elon Musk took over Twitter. Twitter was meant to be the most sold-out, bought-out, liberal, lefty... censorship-filled platform, right? It was the lib platform. Elon Musk bought it, had journalists go through all the files, and what did we get? Like, the FBI saying, hey, can you, or like, sorry, it was the Biden campaign saying, hey, can you, like, take down that picture of Hunter Biden's... That's like all they asked for. And then, what was it? Before the laptop came out, the FBI sent a memo basically saying, hey, listen... We're expecting that there's going to be a piece of potential disinformation coming soon. We believe it's got Russian origin, but we don't know, or something like that. And then eventually the laptop started leaking, and over the course of like a week, it became clear it was not disinformation, it was not of Russian origin. And the platforms pretty much immediately turned around, allowed the content to be posted, and said, yeah, sorry for fucking up, pretty much. And then, so the Twitter files revealed like nothing interesting. There was no crazy censorship. It was like it was so underwhelming to even like a liberal. It's like underwhelming how much collaboration there was, because it's like one memo and then ask him to take down dick pics. It's like what are we crying about here? So I don't know what the liberal left-wing censorship regime is. I don't know where that's coming from. But I mean, it doesn't have to map onto reality to work, I guess, so.
Important word in this case because they've taken it away. In recent weeks, bombshell reports have confirmed that a sinister group of deep state bureaucrats, Silicon Valley tyrants, left-wing activists, and depraved corporate news media have been conspiring to manipulate and silence the American people. They have collaborated to suppress vital information on everything from elections to public health. The censorship cartel must be...
So yeah, that's saying, so they don't let you say that the 2020 election was stolen, which is a lie, and they let you say that the COVID vaccine is you know, whatever you want to say it is, they probably don't let you say it. Or they don't let you say, oh yeah, it's really base to take the fluoride out of the water. Which, I mean, fundamentally, my perspective is, I like misinformation disclaimers, like the community note thing on Twitter. I think that's good. I think stuff like deboosting, if people are going in on a super controversial topic, can be good. But I think it's pretty much broadly agreed that banning and deleting content is like, this is not the best thing for like speech issues. I think that's broadly agreed. Even among like people who just want to make it more liberal and shit, they would say algorithmic deboosting, essentially putting people on an island where they can still post, but it's not leaving like a small enclosure, is generally considered to be the best way of stopping it from spreading, as opposed to just deleting it. You can sort of Streisand effect if you ban people.
Dismantled and destroyed, and it must happen immediately. And here's my plan. First, within hours of my inauguration, I will sign an executive order banning any federal department or agency from colluding with any organization, business, or person to censor, limit, categorize, or impede the lawful speech of American citizens. I will then ban federal money from being used.
So again, you're saying that it impedes the lawful speech of American citizens. It's like, sure, but you also kind of impede on the platform's free speech as well, right? By changing this, so it is a difficult balance to strike. Well, I don't know that just brutish Section 230 reforms, where it's just like, yeah, you have to be fair to conservatives, are like the right way to go about it. I don't know that's the right way to go about it at all.
To label domestic speech as mis or disinformation.
Like, yeah, so illegal to label domestic speech as mis or disinformation. Like, what? But some things are just misinformation or disinformation. Those are real things. There are things that are true, and there are things that are false. There are things that are false and deliberately false and spread to be false. And we should probably be able to point out and make it clear to everyone when that is the case. It should probably be apparent if there is a piece of information that is presented as a fact, but is actually completely false.
Begin the process of identifying and firing every federal bureaucrat who has engaged in domestic censorship, directly or indirectly, whether they are the Department of Homeland Security, the Department of Health, Human Services, the FBI, the DOJ, no matter who they are. Second, I will order the Department of Justice to investigate all parties involved in the new online censorship regime, which is absolutely destructive and terrible, and to aggressively prosecute any and all crimes identified. These include possible violations of federal civil rights law, campaign finance laws, federal election law, securities law, and antitrust laws, the Hatch Act, and a host of...
So like anyone who actually thinks Trump is going to start enforcing antitrust laws is living on another fucking planet. Like, seriously, you are crazy if you think Trump is going to start breaking up social media companies or any companies.
Of other potential criminal, civil, regulatory, and constitutional offenses.
I wish, to be honest, I wish there was they put in the antitrust laws. But let's be serious, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. All that's going to happen, the social media companies are going to sell out like they do, like they always would, because they're not actually ideologically captured like conservatives have pretended for years. They're going to sell out to Trump. Trump's going to not give a fuck. They're going to be like, no, we'll let you guys say whatever they want, which is already happening, by the way. Zuckerberg's already done that. Zuckerberg has been going around saying about how much he regrets censoring stuff in 2016. And Elon's obviously on side completely. So they're going to say, we'll let your guys post whatever they want. It's fine. And then Trump's just going to go, okay, enjoy, have fun, and move on. That's it. Because there's no principle here. It's like an exercise in ego. It's just the social media companies didn't like Trump and didn't like Trump supporters, so he was sounding off about them here. But if they bend over, then it changes immediately.
In these efforts, I am...
Exactly. Yeah, this is just like eliminating oversight and hobbling journalists. Yes.
Urging House Republicans to immediately send preservation letters, and we have to do this right now, to the Biden administration, the Biden campaign, and every Silicon Valley tech giant, ordering them not to destroy evidence of censorship. Third, upon...
So surely Trump's going to be in huge legal battles with Facebook and Twitter, with Meta and Twitter, right? Oh, not Twitter. Meta and Google, right? Alphabet, I guess. Surely that's going to happen. We're going to see that, aren't we? Yeah? Any Trump fans in chat?
On my inauguration as president, I will ask Congress to send a bill to my desk revising Section 230 to get big online platforms out of censorship business. From now on, digital platforms should only qualify for immunity protection under Section 230 if they meet high standards of neutrality.
Is this today, Queen Bee? J.D. Vance says US could drop support for NATO if Europe tries to regulate Elon Musk's platforms.
Transparency, fairness, and
Get
big online platforms out of censorship business. From now on, digital platforms should only qualify for immunity protection under Section 230 if they meet high standards of neutrality, transparency, fairness, and non-discrimination. We should require...
In principle, I don't mind the idea of that. If you actually change Section 230 to be reasonable and say, look, you've got to represent everyone here, fine, whatever. I don't trust Trump or fucking Republicans or the Heritage Foundation or whoever, or Vance or Peter Thiel to be involved in the reorientation of that legislation to write what the what transparency and fairness looks like. Exactly, neutral like Twitter, I worry, is the direction there. Neutral like Twitter. Twitter will be fine, I'm sure.
Require these platforms to increase their efforts to take down unlawful content such as child exploitation and promoting terrorism, while dramatically curtailing their power to arbitrarily restrict lawful speech. Fourth, we need to break up the entire toxic censorship industry that has arisen under the false guise of tackling so-called mis- and disinformation. The federal government should immediately stop...
well, Twitter isn't neutral, and you're like, you're brain dead if you think otherwise. You're like, you don't have eyes, or you don't use the website.
Funding all nonprofits and academic programs that support this authoritarian project. If any U.S. university is discovered to have engaged in censorship activities or election interferences in the past, such as flagging social media content for removal of blacklisting, those universities should lose federal research.
Elon Musk literally had like a special, it was like a feature that I've never seen on anyone else's account, where you would get a tweet that only you could see from Trump. If you liked a certain tweet, you would get a direct @ from Trump's actual account that only you could see, reminding you to go vote and shit. That's how not neutral Twitter is. There was built-in Trump campaign features.
Dollars in federal student loan support for a period of 5 years and maybe more. We should also enact new laws laying out clear criminal penalties for federal bureaucrats who partner with private entities to do an end run around the Constitution and deprive Americans of their First, Fourth, and...
You'd think that broke some law? You'd think so, but I mean, America doesn't have rule of law anymore. I'm not sure if you're aware of that. America doesn't actually have rule of law anymore. They just let, you know, felons who attempted to overthrow their government back in, so they're not too concerned.
Fifth Amendment rights. In other words, deprive them of their vote. And once you lose those elections, and once you lose your borders like we have, you no longer have a country. Furthermore, to confront the problems of major platforms being infiltrated by legions of former deep staters and intelligence officials, there should be a 7-year cooling-off period before any employee of the FBI, CIA, NSA, DNI, DHS, or DOD is allowed to take a job at a company possessing vast...
I feel like it's just crazy to go after Congress term limits before you go after the Supreme Court, no? You can be voted out of your Congress position. You can be either beaten by the opposing candidate or you can get primaried. A Supreme Court, you literally get... it's a lifetime appointment and there's like 5 of them, or like 6 of them, whatever it is. Well, yeah, obviously yes, I know, obviously. Not because you just sacked Supreme Court in his favor. I agree. But if you're like looking at a policy, if someone's saying that we need term limits somewhere, why the fuck Congress? Why is Congress, like, just from a perspective like fair of democratic policy, why would you want Congress of all of them as a voter?
Quantities of U.S. user data. Fifth, the time has finally come for Congress to pass a digital Bill of Rights. This should include a right to digital due process. In other words, government officials should need a court order to take down online content, not send information requests such as the FBI was sending to Twitter. Furthermore, when users of big online platforms have their content or...
Biden and Pelosi have been senators for 30 plus years. Yeah? Why have they been senators for 30 plus years?
...or accounts removed, throttled, shadow banned, or otherwise restricted, no matter what name they use, they should have the right to be informed that it's happening, the right to a specific explanation of the reason why, and the right to a timely appeal. In addition, all users over the age of 18 should have the right to opt out.
Only ran in safe voting states for the party. Well, why have they not been primaried? Pelosi was never a senator? Yeah, I don't know. I'm going for what this guy's saying. Do you maybe it's because people like him? Because it's the popular politicians that win elections? It's not quite the same as a Supreme Court justice that gets appointed and then has a lifetime seat, is it?
Out of content moderation and curation entirely, and receive an unmanipulated stream of information if they so choose. The fight for free speech is a matter of victory or death for America and for the survival of Western civilization itself. When I am president, this whole rotten system of censorship and information control will be ripped out of the system at large. There won't be anything left.
So
by
this is just like
free
delusional.
speech, we'll begin to reclaim our democracy and save our nation.
This is like pure. This is pure empty signaling for fans. But I mean, I would say that's nothing new with Trump. It's like borderline impossible. Like you're gonna do away with moderation, like total TJD, like total Janny. Like that's it. That's not how it works, bro. I mean, this is the case with a lot of democracy, right, Blaster? The Supreme Court is held up by precedent and tradition. Out of judges willing to completely overturn precedent and going back on promises not to overturn Roe v. Wade, we need term limits. I mean, that's like the whole of American democracy right now, is every part that ran on tradition, precedent, principle, gentlemen's agreements has just been completely overturned. Well, not even overturned in the sense that there was a decision made. Just one side doesn't play by those rules. One side just decided, actually, no, I don't give a fuck about checks and balances. So let's pull up Asmongold's reaction to this. So we've gone over it. We've seen that obviously this is like a pretty retarded video, pretty delusional video.
Agree with.
Pretty concerning to anyone with a brain. But what does Asmongold think of it? Here we have a 23-minute video called Trump Will End This War on Free Speech. All right. What's Asmongold's take?
War, and this is the next big problem that's going to happen. Eventually, Democrats will get control back again. This will happen because it always happens. However, the next big attack on people's liberties is going to be on social media.
No, only one side does care about checks and balances because the entire Republican Party has fallen in line behind Trump, who they know full well is an insurrectionist. So, no, only one side cares about checks and balances. If they're not willing to... Look, no, I don't see any of them taking stands. I don't see any of them coming out and saying how awful it is that Trump's won. Oh, it's a dark day for democracy. I'm not saying that from any Republicans right now. I haven't seen that from any Republicans in the last 6 months.
And it's going to be against free speech. I think that it's going to get a lot worse because they're going to try to codify different types of speech-compelling regulations into law. German economics minister already calling for regulation of X. It's fucking sad. Yep, that's right.
If we don't have free speech, then we just don't have a free country. It's as simple as that. If this most fundamental right is allowed to perish, then the rest of our rights and liberties will topple.
He's right, by the way. He's completely right about this.
Just like dominoes, one by one, they'll go down. That's why today I'm announcing my plan to shatter the left-wing censorship regime and to reclaim the right to free speech for all Americans. And reclaim is a very important word in this case because they've taken it away.
They have. Like, the social media websites absolutely did that.
Recent weeks, bombshell reports have confirmed that a sinister group of deep state bureaucrats, Silicon Valley tyrants, left-wing activists, and depraved corporate news media have been conspiring to manipulate and silence the American people.
Shit tons of Republicans came out against Trump. Yep. Do we want to pull up, that's what, not in 6 months, not at any point in the election, everyone fell in line. So you're totally wrong on that. I literally can't think of someone who was running, was part of this cycle, and was going against Trump. Name one. Who... Can I see? I thought there should be a good article that shows, like, you know, what happened to Republicans that criticized Trump, you know? Like, whether they won their elections this time. Liz Cheney, and she got resoundingly rejected by the party. Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they fell in line or lost. There is no, what would you call it? Foothold of anti-Trump sentiment in the Republican Party anymore. It's just not there. It doesn't exist. They're all on board with just going fucking crazy. Or they're willing to let it happen anyway. I heard Dan Crenshaw on Piers Morgan the other day. I might watch some of that. I heard Dan Crenshaw on Piers Morgan the other day. And he was trying to sound way more moderate. But he's still obviously happy to just let whatever Trump's doing go ahead. Yar, I'm Dan Crenshaw. Would you please respect Israel? Oh my God.
People.
Anybody who's on social media knows this has been happening. It's not free speech, it's a private platform. I understand that it's a private platform, but don't you think that it's problematic when all of the private platforms act in unison and collusion in order to stop people from having certain opinions across all of the internet? Like, whenever you own a massive amount of a market share, and you're working with other people that own the remaining amounts of that market share, and you're making decisions unilaterally, you are effectively a monopoly, and you need to be regulated. It's that simple. Also, these websites enjoy a tremendous privilege that's given to them by the government. So if I go to YouTube, for example, and I look at YouTube, let's look at copyright infringement. How many of these videos here are copyright infringement? Let's see. This is copyright infringement. All of the movie. This is a movie. This is another movie. This is a movie. Do you think that all of these things were licensed by Warner Brothers or by MGM or whoever made this movie? Of course not. No. And so YouTube is hosting content on their website that breaks.
It's easy to say this is a privilege, and it is a privilege. It's like, it's a protection, right? But it's something that we're all okay with, right? Broadly, not everyone obviously, but broadly, people are okay with this. People are happy with the status quo of social media, where you are able to view clips of movies. Social media is sort of able to skirt a lot of copyright stuff and have clips of movies, and allow a broader range of content. Dark Viper's not happy about it. Very true. Very true. But like, I think this is something that most people see as benefiting the consumers and the corporations, right? It's like a huge benefit to the user experience that it's set up this way, that people can freely upload like this. And like, I just don't see that there's like, a few years ago, there was maybe an argument that they were acting more like publishers. These days, you can have pretty much anything on any platform. Like, you can be right-wing on YouTube. Twitch, no. You can easily post loads of right-wing content. Even right-wing content that's just, like, grossly false. Radical right-wing content that is just, like, grossly untrue. You can post and monetize on YouTube now. It's just, like, delusional to pretend that the internet is in any way, or these platforms were in any way the way they were at, like, 2019.
Breaks the terms of service, that breaks the law. They break copyright law directly, and they're getting away with it. It's not fair use. It's not fair use to just post a clip on YouTube. Who the fuck thinks that's fair use? Look up what fair use even is. That's clearly not fair use. So these websites are enjoying a tremendous and massive privilege by allowing people to, yeah, this like popcorn picks. What the fuck is this? Diablo 2. Did Blizzard license this? No. So none of these things were licensed by anyone. These social media websites enjoy a massive privilege that allows them to exist. And that massive privilege is given to them by the government. And it's called Section 230, which means that they are a platform and not a...
The consumers and voters also want them to exist, right? Like, it's all well and good saying this, but those protections haven't been really challenged for a reason. It's because these are huge benefits to the consumers too. That we want the platforms this way as well. You can say you might want changes to it, but it's not like Section 230 is just this grace given to platforms. Like, we've just handed down this grace. No, we have it this way because it improves the user experience as well.
Publisher. The difference is that a publisher is exercising editorial discretion on what's uploaded and what is not uploaded, and a platform allows users to upload whatever they choose. So the problem is that these companies want the privileges of a platform, but they also want they want the privileges of a publisher, but they also want the accountability of a platform. So when you look at these things, yeah, they want both privileges, exactly. And so that's what I think is really going on. So when I'm talking about, like,
he's arguing that companies should have stronger obligations to not be a publisher under Section 230, that, like, if they start deciding what types of political speech are okay and which types aren't, that should disqualify them from Section 230.
Like regulation, these companies have regulation right now on them, and the regulation allows them to exist. So if you take that regulation away and you treat them fairly, their entire business model would fall apart and YouTube would be out of business in 24 hours. I'm not kidding. Like, if you took away Section 230, they would have to shut down the entire website. That's it. And so when you're looking at, like, these companies and you're talking about, like, oh, well, they're a private company. Okay, well, if they're a private company, why are they getting these privileges? They would just have to stop moderating? Yeah. I've been watching 4-hour-long Family Guy videos for a month on YouTube. Yeah, imagine what would happen if YouTube could get sued for that. Anyway, so what I'm saying is that these companies that are social media platforms, they are not operating in a free space. They are operating under a privilege that is granted to them by the government. And I think that because of that, there should be a degree of accountability. Because if you're using that privilege in a bad way, then you shouldn't have it.
They have collaborated to suppress vital information on everything from elections to public health. The censorship cartel must be dismantled and destroyed, and it must...
And it is a cartel, very obviously. And you can see this happen when a person gets banned on one platform, and then all of the platforms ban them.
Section 230 requires a certain amount of moderation, right? Yeah, you have to comply with DMCA requests, I think, right? It's something like what does a platform need to do to qualify for Section 230 protections? Yeah. So the Section 230 provisions are that you have to comply with DMCA and take down illegal content. There's nothing about, you don't actually have to be a neutral platform. That's like a total red herring that just conservatives throw out. Trump tried to change Section 230. May 2020, President Donald Trump released an executive order titled Section 230 in social media. Reportedly drafted the order a year earlier, but it was tabled following confusion from regulators and legal experts until a feud with Twitter revived the idea. The order asked regulators to redefine Section 230 more narrowly, bypassing the authority of Congress and the courts. It also pushed agencies to collect complaints of political bias that could justify revoking sites' legal protections. Trump has broadly backed Republican efforts to change the law in Congress following Joe Biden's election. He's gone further and pushed for complete Section 230 abolition, threatening to veto the National Defense Authorization Act unless it includes a repeal of the law, and packaging it into the ongoing push for $2,000 direct stimulus payments. This is from 2020, so they talk about stimulus payments. How might Joe Biden change Section 230? No. How has Section 230 been modified over the years? No. What changes are congressional Democrats proposing? So The Democrats wanted an alternative called the Platform Accountability and Consumer Transparency Act, which was more about requiring websites to transparently report how they moderate content. So that's not about restricting which content they moderate or making them moderate content. That's just about being transparent with it. Bill Barr released a series of recommendations for how Section 230 might be reformed, playing off a string of workshops earlier in the year. The recommendations include new restrictions on cyber stalking and terrorism, which will likely result in more proactive moderation efforts, along with measures intended to punish arbitrary or discriminatory moderation. Barr's proposal would only grant immunity for moderation decisions that are done in accordance with plain and particular terms of service and accompanied by a reasonable explanation, a far narrower scope than the current law. Barr's recommendations would need to be passed by Congress. Smaller fraction Republicans focused on restricting moderation immunity, punishing platforms that moderate in a biased or otherwise discriminatory way. Senator Josh Hawley has proposed a bill that would bind platforms to a duty of good faith, entitling users to significant monetary damages if they're able to show in court that the platform had breached its duty. And then, yeah, more just enforcing neutrality. I feel like, yeah, any of this shit must get just... Anything where it enforces neutrality, surely that is just against the First Amendment, no? Would it not be? Like, you can't restrict... I mean, if anti-BDS laws get through, I'm sure that could too, but... I feel like it should probably be against the First Amendment.
At the same time, I think Alex Jones is the best example of this.
Happen immediately, and here's my plan. First, within hours of my inauguration, I will sign an executive order banning any federal department or agency from colluding with any organization, business, or person to censor, limit, categorize, or impede the lawful speech of American citizens.
Wow. Trump himself was banned? Yeah, he was. Trump got banned on Twitter. And the funny thing is that, like, think about what happened after that. He got banned. They didn't... No.
Okay, this is the most retarded thing I've ever read. Grateful. First Amendment protects the expression of speech, not the ability to restrict as a company. No, what you're talking about there is that's compelled speech on a company. You're saying you as a company have to express this on your platform. If someone posts this to your platform, you have to allow it to be expressed on your platform. That is compelled speech, and that would be against First Amendment. I think under any reasonable interpretation, that would be against First Amendment. I think that is the majority opinion by every fucking like lawyer. As far as I've been aware of it, the entire time I've been aware of this issue.
Put him in jail. Elon Musk bought Twitter, fired everybody that was doing it. I would not be surprised if Trump goes after the people that were running Twitter whenever they banned him and tries to put them in jail or something. I could easily see that happen. That was a disgrace. Yeah, he should. I mean, I don't think you should put him in jail for.
Well, obviously in the current court, it literally doesn't matter what is against the Constitution, because the Constitution is just whatever Trump says it is. But the majority opinion that I've heard from every fucking lawyer, legal scholar, whatever, expert on this over the years, over the literally like 10 years that this Section 230 thing has been a talking point, has always been that the First Amendment does protect the speech of private companies, and you cannot compel a private company to have an expression of speech on their platform that they do not want. Queen Bee, I believe, you're a lawyer, right? Chat lawyer. What's your take on this?
For nothing, right? If they're guilty of a crime, they should go to jail, of course, same as anybody else. But yeah, exactly, do it. No, I think that absolutely he would do it. That's banana republic bullshit. I don't think so. I think that if the companies are doing it on behalf of the government and breaking the law, then they should be held accountable, but not if they're not doing it.
I will then ban federal money from being used to label domestic speech as mis or dis.
It's like not, okay, it's up to interpretation, same way anything in the court is, but it's not. You've got like a retarded reading of it that as far as I'm aware, no one agrees with.
Information.
Yep.
And I will begin the process of identifying and firing every federal bureaucrat who has engaged in domestic censorship.
Oh my God. It's going to be a fucking rapture. It would be too petty to do that kind of vengeance. You think it would be too petty on the conversation topic of Donald Trump? Uh-oh.
Directly or indirectly, whether they are the Department of Homeland Security,
Jesus,
the Department of Health, Human Services, the FBI, the DOJ, no matter who they are, Second, I will order the Department of Justice to investigate all parties involved in the new online censorship regime, which is absolutely destructive and terrible.
If you compel a company to allow speech on their platform, that is compelled. You are compelling them to host that. That is, they are expressing it. That is on their platform. That is compelled speech. That is absolutely would, as far as I'm aware, fall under the First Amendment. Section not even. Can the government? Oh, this is a long fucking article. Okay. Yeah, I mean the Cato Institute here saying it is covered. Social media may enjoy protection from government independent of their users' right. Social media may enjoy protections from government independent of their users' right to free speech. The owners of companies involved may have First Amendment rights that preclude government from requiring a platform to carry speech, and it cites a legal thing. Publishers have a right to editorial discretion over what to publish. Like publishers, platform managers choose what will appear on their platforms. After all, not everything sent to the platform stays on it. Besides removing content, platform managers also rank content, therefore affecting the likelihood it will be seen by users. Both activities are similar to publishers' editorial choices and deserve First Amendment protection.
Terrible.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
And to aggressively prosecute any and all crimes identified. These include possible violations of federal...
The purge? Yeah. No, I mean, of course.
Civil rights law, campaign finance laws, federal election law, securities law, and antitrust laws.
By the way, I totally support this. I absolutely do. I think this is long overdue. It's been evident to me that these companies are misusing their position for years and years and years. Finally, this is happening.
The Hatch Act and a host of other potential criminal, civil, regulatory, and constitutional offenses. To assist in these efforts, I am urging...
That's not the... Dude. Even if you were trying to argue the grey area, that's not where it is. There is no grey area there. It's pretty clear that you can't make a platform or a publisher say something that they don't want to say. That is pretty clearly under the First Amendment. That is not where the grey area would be.
Urging House Republicans to immediately send preservation letters.
The grey area would be in Section 230. I'm talking about constitutional law, not Section 230. Yes, the grey area would be in Section 230 if you were going to argue in the grey area. Constitutional law, this isn't a grey area. No, it's pretty clear that you cannot tell a publisher or platform that what they can and can't have. You cannot that part. You cannot. There's not an argument there, really.
And we have to do this right now.
Oh, this is how, so they can't delete the evidence. Because if you get a notice of preservation, you're not allowed to, what do you call it? You're not allowed to delete information.
Now, to the Biden administration,
Hey, do me a quick favor and pull up the moment Trump found out about the death of Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
What? Oh, yeah, I remember this.
Biden campaign and every Silicon Valley tech giant ordering them not to destroy evidence of censorship. Third, upon my inauguration as president,
what's wrong with this? It's the most fucking, like, autistic force, like, I'm trying not to celebrate, ever. Like, wow, you're just now telling me this for the first time. She led an amazing life. Alright, see ya. Like, dude.
Congress to send a bill to my desk revising Section 230.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Here we go. This was what I hoped Trump would have done in his first term.
Censorship. Third.
What do you call it? You're not allowed to delete information.
Now, to the Biden administration, the Biden campaign, and every Silicon Valley tech giant ordering them not to destroy evidence of censorship. Third, upon my inauguration as president, I will ask Congress to send a bill to my desk revising Section 230.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Here we go. This was what I hoped Trump would have done in his first term. Like, this was like, I remember like thinking, and I was like, okay, maybe if I vote for Trump, Like,
Dude.
he'll regulate social media because I think it's a huge problem because he understands social media in a way that other people don't. He didn't do it. It made me very mad. I would like that was actually.
He does not understand social media in a way other people don't. That's so retarded. He's just like a fucking idiot who was tweeting all the time through the 2010s. He just couldn't stay off of fucking Twitter. Bannon, now Bannon understands social media, but I certainly, even less so than Trump, wouldn't want Bannon writing legislation about how social media platforms should operate.
One of the main things I was hoping he would do. Maybe now he's going to do it because I thought that he was in a unique position to be able to do that.
To get big online platforms out of censorship business. From now on, digital platforms should only qualify for immunity protection under Section 230 if they meet high standards of neutrality.
This is exactly what I wanted. Yep. Exactly what I wanted.
There's no way this could possibly go wrong, right? Trump drawing up legislation that social media companies should have to host certain types of speech that he thinks they should host and take down certain things that he thinks they should take down and not being able to label things as untrue when he lies constantly. There's no way this could possibly go wrong. Wow, this is exactly what I wanted. Dude, it's so fucking gay. It's just like so obvious that Asmongold is like, it's not even like, it's not intentional. I don't think he's consciously doing it. But it's like a form of audience capture. It's just a way he's sort of led by his chat a little bit. Like it absolutely influences the way he reacts to shit. Because I feel like this guy should have the critical thinking skills to go, wow, is this guy the guy I want doing this? I understand that in theory I might like this policy, but like, given the things I know about this guy, is this guy the one I would want deciding this?
Transparency, fairness, and non-discrimination.
Yep. There you go. Man. Oh boy, oh boy. The answer to censorship is censorship? That's not, I understand, you know, that's like a, I don't know, like a 90 IQ Reddit take. But like, no, that's not what's happening here. I agree, no censorship. Yeah, if you want to say your opinion, preach, but I have the right to know who you are. You have the right to know who somebody is? No, you don't. Why do you have the right to know who somebody is?
So just people in Asmongold's chat that are just like anti-internet anonymity as well. It's just like so cringe. Oh my god.
That's crazy. The government does. Sure, I think you can make that argument, but no, you don't. As an individual, absolutely not.
We should require these platforms to increase their efforts to take down unlawful content such as child exploitation.
Wait, I've just realized it took me so long to figure out what the fuck your account was. Moti, your picture's round moat. Oh my god. Dude. Moti.
And promoting terrorism while dramatically curtailing their...
Wow.
Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy.
Wow, I love hearing every fucking noise of that. Every tiny little pop.
Does this also stop platforms from being slaves to advertisers? You know what's really funny? It does. Because if they literally can't stop this stuff because of the law, then the...
Well, I don't understand. He's just had the Palestine controversy. I thought he said he was going to stop weighing into issues where he felt out of his depth. I was going to stop making strong statements on issues that where he felt out of his depth. Serious issues that he didn't understand fully. I thought that was like part of his apology was, I really want to be better with this stuff, guys. I really want to be better with this. It's like, man.
Advertisers can't use it as leverage. I never thought about that, but you're totally right. Wow. Oh boy, oh boy. The law supersedes TOS? Yeah, of course. All this dude's saying all this shit is going to end up playing 4 years of golf. If that happens, I'm going to lose. I'm going to be so mad. I feel like if that happens, I'm probably never going to vote for another Republican ever again. Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I would be so fucking mad. Can you explain the last comment? Basically, they have to maintain neutrality. Yeah, it's pretty simple. The concern here will be if the energy they have for applying this for the other party is the same for their own party. I'm pretty sure that the Republican Party has done their own censorship. Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Let's see. Someone's raising the point that while you might think this law sounds good in theory, or these reforms sound good in theory, It might not be good in practice. Okay, how well does Asmongold engage with this?
Party is the same for their own party. I'm pretty sure that the Republican Party has done their own censorship. Yeah, they have. You're right. I think that's a very reasonable concern. I think you're right.
A reasonable concern. Okay.
You did vote?
Is that going to change the tone here at all? Do we think he's going to approach us with any more skepticism? Because I think that's the first moment of skepticism I've seen this entire video. Let's see.
I voted for Trump the first time. I didn't vote the second or the third time.
Power to arbitrarily restrict lawful speech. Fourth, we need to break up the entire toxic censorship industry that has arisen under the false guise of tackling so-called mis- and disinformation.
Wow. Holy shit. Holy shit.
The federal government should immediately...
So, how can you think that's a good thing? Like, what is Trump even talking about there? What is the industry that's been set up to combat mis- and disinformation? You mean like Snopes? You mean like Snopes? You mean like media bias check? Like, what's the fact-checking industry that goes after misinformation and disinformation? Everything I can think of that is like the anti-misinformation, disinformation industry is just like good. They're just like good things. It's just like good reporting. People correcting things that are untrue. Like, even if we're not banning, so I'm against like banning a lot of this speech. You know, I don't want to ban it, but I feel like it's a good thing to have other people whose job it is to go around and say, hey, that's not true. Here's why it's not true. And here's the evidence. I think that's great. What's the problem with that?
Stop funding all nonprofits and academic programs that support this authoritarian project.
True. Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, who decides misinformation?
100%. He's all on board. He's sold.
Exactly. Yeah, this is crazy.
This is how deep the average American engages with policy propositions, by the way.
True. Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, who decides misinformation? Exactly. Yeah, this is crazy. Holy shit.
Such reputation for honesty should be earned, not appointed. Okay, who appointed them, man? Who appointed them? It has been earned. No one appointed them, bro.
If any U.S. university is discovered to have engaged in censorship activities or election interferences in the past, such as flagging social media content for removal of blacklisting, those universities should lose federal research dollars and federal student loan support.
Oh my God. What's
like, dude, they're just threatening to pull funding from universities, dude.
Exactly. Yeah, this is crazy. Holy shit.
If any U.S. university is discovered to have engaged in censorship activities or election interferences in the past, such as flagging social media content for removal of blacklisting, those universities should...
Like, if a university has flagged content, what does that mean? What, like, if they've asked a student to take something down? So, like, should your university, should you not be able to be kicked out of your university? Let's say you write, like, total slur death, you know? Should you not be able to be kicked out of university? I feel like there's probably reasonable limits we can come up with here, where it's like, okay, should you be able to be at university if you're going like super crazy on social media? Should you? Is it up to that university? These are like, while they receive government money, these are like private institutions, no? No, you can only be kicked out of university for protesting about Gaza from now on. Schools have some right to control your speech as president. Do they now? US v. Tinker. Yeah, okay, so yeah, there is already a law about this, yeah. I've heard about this before. It was a landmark decision by the United States Supreme Court that recognized the First Amendment rights of students in U.S. public schools. The Tinker test, known as the substantial disruption test, still used by courts today to determine whether a school's interest to prevent disruption infringes upon students' First Amendment rights. The court famously opined, it can hardly be argued that either students or teachers shared their constitutional rights to freedom of expression at the schoolhouse gates. So yeah, if it causes substantial disruption.
Casino tax. God bless Aaron Rodgers for being such a washed loser.
Casino tax. Aaron Rodgers. Oh, you bet on some American football games today. Thank you for the 1337. Thank you. So yeah, I mean, schools do already have some right to censor you. Hey, look, I will openly say when I haven't heard of something before. I have heard of that before. I have heard of the Tinker test, the substantial disruption test. I've heard of that, okay? I'm ready to admit when I don't know something. I did know this. Deep down. In the back of my mind. Somewhere.
Should lose federal research dollars and federal student loan support.
Oh my God. What's crazy about this is the fact that he's going to do it retroactively. Holy shit. Oh my God.
Well, yeah, he's going to do it retroactively. It's almost like it's not about whether those schools did anything wrong, and it's just about deliberately going after a bunch of liberal colleges to try and take money away from them and throw lawsuits at them. It's almost like it's just like political persecution, essentially.
America's movie fuck. Yeah, this is nuts. I don't agree with the 5-year non-funding on universities. It's only going to hurt the students. They need to punish the board who made those decisions. Oh, why not both? Yeah, no, it will hurt everybody if he does that. And that's the goal. That's exactly what he's trying to do.
For a period of 5 years and maybe more. We should also enact new laws laying out clear criminal penalties for federal bureaucrats who partner with private entities to do an end run around the Constitution.
Thank fucking God. Yeah, absolutely. True.
And deprive Americans of their First, Fourth, and Fifth Amendment rights. In other words, deprive them of their vote. And once you lose those elections, and once you lose your borders like we have, you no longer have a country. Furthermore, to confront the problems of major platforms being infiltrated.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know why Asmongold is just like so fucking stupid sometimes. I know he's capable of like some level of critical thought. I don't know why he just immediately just goes along with shit sometimes. Like, surely he must, like, he's a libertarian leaning guy. Surely he must see how insane some of this shit is.
By legions of former deep staters and
this was crazy to see how many people that worked in the CIA that went to work at Facebook. That was really interesting for me to see that on LinkedIn.
No, listen, I remember back in the day, 2016, 2015 era, when Asmongold would be on calls with Destiny and like those 1v6s with fucking Brittany Venti and Andy Warski and all these fucking people. Asmongold was always way smarter. He always had like good questions for everyone. I remember, okay? I still believe.
What an interesting thing to notice.
Intelligence officials.
Wow.
There should be a 7-year cooling off period before any employee of the FBI, CIA, NSA, DNI, DHS, or DOD is allowed to take a job at a company possessing vast quantities of U.S. user data.
Probably a good idea. I actually think this probably is a good idea. You know what?
Officials.
What was really interesting for me to see that on LinkedIn. What an interesting thing to notice.
Intelligence officials.
Wow.
There should be a 7-year cooling off period before any employee of the FBI, CIA, NSA, DNI, DHS, or DOD is allowed to take a job at a company possessing vast quantities of U.S. user data.
Probably a good idea.
I'm sorry, but those people are probably just really good for those jobs. Like, I don't think you need some conspiracy or ulterior motive to understand why these people get hired for those jobs. Like,
I actually think this probably is a good idea. You know what's actually crazy? How many right-wing influencers were literally paid by Russia to make propaganda? Look up Tim Pool's Russian payments. What does that have to do?
He just got fried by that.
Tim Pool's. You know what's actually crazy? How many right-wing influencers were literally paid by Russia to make propaganda? Look up Tim Pool's Russian payments.
Totally fried by that. Totally fried, dude. It's just like, it's totally crazy to pretend there is any like reasonable complaint on Trump's end here when that shit is happening on the other side on his behalf, essentially.
paid by Russia to make propaganda. Look up Tim Pool's Russian payments. What does that have to do with... yeah, I mean, that's bad. For sure. Okay.
That's it? You don't notice that stuff like that is remarkably absent from anything Trump is trying to support here? That's anything about that is remarkably absent from anything Trump's supporting here? And it all seems to be geared towards, like, allowing more of that? Like, allowing more things like that?
That was easy, right? Yeah, bad.
Almost like he's pro-Russian disinformation.
Big bad. Ooh, real bad. Not good. Ooh, bad.
Fifth, the time has finally come for Congress to pass a digital Bill of Rights. This should include a right to digital due process. In other words, government officials should need a court order to take down online content.
Government officials should need a court order to take down online content. I agree with that.
Okay, I don't necessarily disagree with that, but that hasn't been happening. Like, yeah, you can say that maybe should be the case, but it hasn't been happening, as far as I'm aware. They had the whole Twitter files, and there was none of that. So, what is the law about? What's the need for it?
Because he's referring to, so at the beginning, I was like, wait a minute, I'm kind of shaky on this. But if he's referring to how the government can affect a social media user's account, then he's totally within his jurisdiction of doing that, right? Because, yeah, the government shouldn't be able to, like, make people take things down without a court order. Absolutely. What about school shooting videos? Well, the government wouldn't really be taking that down. I don't think anybody is going to be complaining about school shooting videos.
Not send information requests such as the FBI was sending to Twitter. Furthermore, when users of big online
what was that? What was that about Twitter? What are you talking about?
Shouldn't be able to, like, make people take things down without a court order. Absolutely. What about school shooting videos?
This was a pre-Elon Musk, I think.
Well, the government wouldn't...
no, not. It would have been post-Twitter files. So post-Elon Musk, but pre-Musk and Donald Trump teaming up.
Be taking that down. I don't think anybody is going to be complaining about school shooting videos.
Not send information requests such as the FBI was sending to Twitter. Furthermore, when users of...
There was literally nothing wrong with how the FBI acted towards Twitter. I'm sorry, there literally wasn't. Like...
Big online platforms have their content or accounts removed, throttled, shadow banned, or otherwise restricted, no matter what name they use. They should have the right to be informed that it's happening, the right to a specific explanation of the reason why, and the right to a timely appeal.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Thank fucking God, yeah. And the thing...
Well, I'm fine with enforcing transparency. I think transparency is good. I think that's like the best compromise, is working in transparency to the Section 230 protections. Because I don't think you should force companies to host things they don't want to host, because you know, that's the right of the platform to decide what the fuck they want to do with their platform. But I do think that if you're going to benefit from essentially protections on like a good faith moderation thing, then yeah, you should be open. You should tell the public exactly how you're doing it.
Is that all of this stuff, like, I support all of this. I completely do. And I think that he absolutely has the right to do it. I think
all of it. So retarded.
Government absolutely has the right to do it because of
some of it is like almost blatantly against the First Amendment. So what do you mean he has the right to do it? You're just like illiterate, dude.
Stuff like I support all of this. I completely do. And I think that he absolutely has the right to do it. I think the government absolutely has the right to do it because of Section 230. These companies could not exist.
Yeah. So the FBI sent a memo to Twitter ahead of the laptop leak saying they had tip-offs about essentially a Russian disinformation campaign or intelligence suggesting a Russian disinformation campaign. Twitter then made the decision to remove the Hunter Biden laptop leaks initially, but then the next day they reversed it, stated that, you know, it was being allowed and the world moved on. The only things that were requested to be taken down were by the Biden campaign, and it was Hunter Biden's cock pictures. It was literally pictures of his dick that they were asking to have taken down.
Unless they are given this basic immunity, get out of jail free card for copyright infringement. Like, if you take that away from them and you treat them like everybody else, they immediately can't exist. So,
yeah, his massive
again, with
dick.
great power comes great responsibility.
His massive dick that he fucked loads of hookers with while smoking crack. Yes, Hunter Biden's massive cock that he fucked loads of hookers with while he went on crack benders across the globe. Yep.
In addition, all users over the age of 18 should have the right to opt out of content moderation.
People say that they'll assassinate him for this. Here's what you don't understand. If they end up assassinating Trump...
Who's they?
JD Vance is going to be like, okay, that was a good start. We're going to do all of that. And now we're going to do all this other shit too. Yeah, Vance.
Yeah, JD, yes, we know JD. Like low IQ engagement. We're gonna do all the other shit and even more. Like even more. What, Asmongold? Even more the whims of Peter Thiel and the Heritage Foundation, right? Can we get to that point? Can we get to that point, please, Asmongold? Can we get to that level of engagement with the topic?
Trump. JD Vance is going to be like, okay, that was a good start. We're gonna do all of that, and now we're gonna do all this other shit too. Yeah, Vance will go 10 times harder. Yeah, like in a lot of ways, it seems like he's even more conservative than Trump is. So no, I don't think that's what's going to happen at all. JD will be afraid? I don't think so. Yeah, they're not going to make him a martyr. I think that they realize that because he's already put out all of these things. And so Trump's already put out a lot of these things as kind of like action items. So if Trump did get assassinated and there's effectively a mandate for these policies to become law, anybody who went against that would be immediately like hated by everyone else. Same logic applied with him and Pence the first time. Pence was way worse than Trump in policy. Oh yeah, the electricity, yeah, the shock thing. I don't know if that actually happened, but a lot of people were talking about it.
A timely appeal. In addition, all users over the age of 18 should have the right to opt out of content moderation and curation entirely. And
I hope that Trump, like, I hope he considers making it to where you can't make a social media account if you're under the age of consent. I don't think you should be able to make a social media account if you're under the age of consent, unless it's an account made on a platform that's explicitly created for kids, like YouTube Kids.
Receive an unmanipulated stream of information if they so choose. The fight for free speech is a matter of victory or death for America and for the survival of Western civilization itself. When I am president, this whole rotten system of censorship and information control will be ripped out of the system at large. There won't be anything left. By restoring free speech, we'll begin to reclaim our democracy and save our nation. Thank you, and God bless America.
I swear to God, if this orange retard doesn't do this, I'm going to lose my fucking mind. Bro, I'm going to join Antifa if this doesn't happen. Like, I'm gonna be so fucking mad. Base not even office? Yeah, bro, like, I'm gonna be fucking furious. Promise the world? Yeah, and I want it. I want it! Best thing I've ever heard from a politician? Yeah, I'm very much in support of all this stuff. And what if it does happen? Then I'll be pleasantly surprised, and I'll make YouTube videos about it and be like, yeah, that's what it is. There it is. True.
Wow, that was terrible.